Hi, hello, good evening, and welcome to This Is Not a Scottcast. We're here on episode 35 with our special guest from Canada, international author of the book So I Got Hazed, Mr. Mike Reid. Mike, did anybody stimulate your butthole today?
Not that I can say.
Wow,
But,
that's disappointing.
we still got 3 hours left in the day.
3 hours left in your day?
Yes.
According to
It's a
my hair
Canadian day,
tie.
so it's got more hours in it.
Okay. Wait, is that true? No, that doesn't make sense. We live on the same earth.
No, it's not true. Yes.
You're just three
How's it
hours
going, buddy?
behind me. You're just 3 hours behind me and 3 hours west.
Yes. Being on the West Coast is pretty awesome.
Okay. Don't have to just rub it in my face like that, like you're better than me. That's not fair. I guess it's important for everyone to know that my camera is here, but the TV that I can see Mike's face on is here. So for the sake of okay. Alright, EK can fix that. Mike, how are you doing today, buddy? Bo. No.
I'm great, man. Your camera's somewhere over there for me, but I'm just staring at a picture of myself.
Why? Wait. Oh, you can't see yourself? You
No,
can't
I'm just joking. I was being narcissistic.
I was gonna say you can't see me, dog. It's important that you see me because I'm narcissistic. It's okay, Bobo. It's okay.
Where am I being moved to?
We're
Oh my gosh.
Canada. We're deporting you.
This is what it looks like when the government's spying on you jerking off.
Except it looks more like this.
Yeah.
And then a big one of these faces. Oh! Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Clip that. Clip that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes.
That's your new gaming avatar.
My new gaming avatar. Good thing I play lots of video games. What are you up to, man?
Living the dream, buddy.
Oh, man.
Writing
You're a
some
fucking...
new books and following you.
You are a psychological operative. You're a CIA plant, and they put you here just so that you could go around and say, "I'm living the dream."
Yeah.
You're a robot. Let's do a Turing test right now.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, prove to me that you're conscious being outside of my consciousness.
How would I know that I'm a conscious being outside your consciousness?
I don't know. Prove it to me.
I can't.
That seems
Because
like
you can't
something
prove
that
that
an
you're
unconscious being would
not
say.
in my consciousness. Am I dead? Am I a robot?
You're toying with me, man.
Am I really a mining robot and I'm going to pick you up and throw you through a wall now?
Maybe, yeah. Who sent you? If you were, hypothetically speaking, if you were a robot, what dystopian future would you be from?
Jesus Christ. If I was
I
a
don't
robot...
think the Bible is a dystopian future, but kinda?
I would be from the Wall-E universe, most likely.
Alright.
Where everybody's abandoned Earth and it's become a trash pile. And then it's my friendly mission to clean it all up. That's what universe I would come from.
So is Wall-E like a futuristic Lorax?
I think so.
Right? Kinda?
It's more like... Have you never seen Wall-E?
You know me. Just hanging out watching
Okay.
these
So
movies.
the story of Wall-E, it's this little robot that's all by himself that cleans up a planet full of trash. And humans have left the planet, and they're all fat, disgusting individuals that have almost no bone mass anymore. And they sit in these giant chairs that chauffeur them around everywhere. Yeah, pretty much like you and I right now.
Yeah.
And he meets... You know what? I don't want to ruin anything for you. I'll send you a link later to the Disney Network where you can download a subscription and pay to watch it.
Speaking of which, I'm going to need you to send me some new websites and servers to enjoy my...
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Sporting.
whoa.
Yo, don't act like you ain't got... Come on, man.
Canadian
Got the hookup on
connections.
the Pinterest flower websites? Yeah, I can hook
Yeah,
you up
bro.
with all of those. You'll be making bouquets and
Yes, thank you.
all sorts of arrangements before you know it.
That's what I'm trying to do every Sunday, bro. Do you watch football? Did you get to watch football
I
today?
don't, but football has got back into full swing, and that is great because there's a lot of people that have been waiting for sports to come back, and people get restless without their entertainment, man.
Yes. Yay, America. Yay, football. Yay, America.
So I take it you're not a football fan?
I love football. Well, I used to love football. I used to love football a lot, man. And then, like 2 years ago, when I started doing stand-up comedy, it was on Thursday nights, and we had to compete with Thursday night football. And well, I sort of fell out of love with football because people were watching the games instead of watching us, and it was a distraction to the comedy. And then, like,
No.
I had to stop taking in all that. I felt like, at least, that I needed to stop taking in all that football information that I was taking in. That was like, who is my team looking at drafting this year? Blah 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 blah. And like trying to figure out all this fantasy stuff. And I stopped focusing that energy on that and started putting it into like comedy and writing and stuff. So yeah, I just stopped. I don't. I do enjoy football. Like if I were to watch the games today when they were on, or put on the game tonight, like I would get into it. But I tried to watch today, but I couldn't. So just fucking took a nap. I played with the dog, Bo and I.
So now it's like watching a rival, basically,
Yeah,
because
in a
they're
way.
in your time slot.
Straight up, straight up. And that's like, I don't know. That's like time on a Sunday. Like I'm really trying to limit like all of my entertainment, man. Like the entire like everything I consume. I'm trying to limit it, even music, because I fucking abuse listening to music. So like I'm just trying to not let other people's magic have that much of an effect on me, so that I can sit here and make my own. Like it's cool to have like an hour or two of like leisure and screen time to like listen to music, watch TV or whatever in the evenings after you've taken care of your shit. But like I get up, fucking take a shower, do my thing, and then start listening to music. And before I know it, I'm sitting around like a crackhead, like, yo, just one more song. Just one more song. Just one more song. Just one more song. And before you know it, I've listened to all of Tool's entire catalog, plus like 2 Perfect Circle albums, and now I'm depressed because the music is depressing. And I hate myself because I've just been draining my consciousness, dumping it into my phone, and destroying my dopamine.
And not writing any joke.
And not writing any
And
jokes, not doing anything to progress my will.
not producing money for yourself in some sort of way.
Yes.
Yeah. The hardest part, I think, about following all of your friends that are creators is deciding how much time to give each of them. Because to be a good fan, you have to give so much. And when you do that, you limit your own potential. And
Right. I think my thing too is I'm trying to figure out like my fan engagement or whatever, which is like what I'm calling it when my like scrolling, like getting on Facebook, checking my notifications and replying to comments, like that there needs to be like a set time. It's like, yo, you can do this for 45 minutes a day, but it has to be at these times, and it's like a strict thing. Like your intention is to do this and interact with people that you care, because like I don't see the people that I'm friends with on Facebook as fans. Like I care immensely about a lot of those people and can't wait to like get out there and meet them, or see them when I see them this weekend, the people that are in town. But yeah, I don't know, man. Facebook's just driving me nuts. How hard was it for you to get like self-disciplined when you were writing your book?
I think the hardest thing is telling yourself to continue doing something every day when you don't have a team of people around you. I think being an independent indie artist is one of the toughest things, especially with the marketing, and you almost have to, well, you do have to sell yourself, but you almost have to look at yourself as a commodity. And I think looking at yourself in an abstract third person is also sort of difficult to get yourself around, because you really have to separate yourself emotionally from the product, which is you. And it's tough to separate yourself emotionally from yourself.
Yeah. Which you can imagine. So you can imagine. God, you put that so perfectly. Can you imagine the internal conflict that I've been going through for the past years while I have these psychedelic experiences and ego disillusions and stuff? It's like I'm the product, and the culture that I'm building around the product is like me, and my thing is like it's fucking paradoxical, dude. I am like a walking paradox, and I'm trying to figure out ways to separate it from myself from it. Do you know what really made something click in my head last night? Thinking about
What's
all
that?
of this though, Mick Foley. Mick Foley, Dude Love,
the mankind from WWF.
Cactus Jack.
Okay. Yes.
Mick Foley. That is base reality. Is Mick Foley. And then he had his other characters that he did: Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love. So there's just like a way to like step in and out of these roles. Like there's a time to step back and be like, all right, I'm corporate Scott. Like it's time to be Mick Foley mode. And then there's a time to be like, yo, we're cutting up. Like I've been like my podcasts have been, I went back and listened to my second episode. I sound like an NPR host. And now tonight I'm like, yo, let me kick back and talk to Mike and fucking be myself, dude. Like, I don't think anybody's ever seen the real me on a podcast. Whoever the real me
is.
Have to do,
man. Well, the real you is always being developed, right?
Yep.
Because you're a product, so you're changing every day.
Yeah.
Developing yourself and changing with the times. And because you're a comedian, you have to change with the audience, right? Because if you don't get any laughs, I mean, I don't want to say if you don't get any laughs, you're not necessarily the best comedian, but I mean, that's debatable.
Yeah,
but if you don't get any laughs, you're not going to continue getting gigs generally, right?
Yeah. There's definitely like, fuck. What was I going to say? I lost it. Lost that thought. Well, how long did it take you to write your book without the team, without a manager and stuff?
That's a great question. I had been keeping journals for 15 years.
Fuck.
And I just decided to read them all, take the bits out that were good enough to put in a book, or at least I thought they were good enough to put in a book, and then edit them. And it took me from November 2019 to March to get it done. So 4 months.
That's not too bad once you like actually got it compiled and like looked at, but all the work that went in to it before that is a lot too, man. And I mean,
yes.
Do you think if you had like a team around you, like a manager or something, or not even like a manager, but somebody that could handle the non-creative stuff for you, not someone to like push you and be like, hey, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, but somebody, if you had somebody to like handle the finances and the marketing and just another aspect of the book and the development of it itself, do you think it would have made making the book easier instead of having to be like, I'm my own marketing team, I'm my own manager, I'm fucking everything, I'm the entire entity?
So the simple question answer is yes. But I think that if you do it once, you understand what all these roles job is and how they contribute to the overall project. And I think that it's important to work in all of these positions, jobs, or in different scopes of a project to help you understand what people should be doing. And then that way, when you elevate yourself, you can be like, you know what, you're probably not the best fit, or you're a great fit because I've done that position and I know that this is what it takes to get that done.
Okay. It gives you hands-on perspective.
My hands-on perspective?
Yes, will you put your hands on my perspective?
Yeah, I can put my hands on your perspective.
No, it gives you hands-on perspective on those skills and those crafts, so that, like you said, when it comes time to like trust somebody else with that, you have an idea of what you want out of that position.
Yes, and I think one of the toughest things, circling back, is ego. Letting go of your ego when you're trying to create a piece of work and let other people touch it is very hard, because you might have a vision for something, and then you bring on these other people and they might not have that same vision, but that doesn't mean that they can't contribute a lot to the work. And I think giving up part of this idea that you have to control everything to make it perfect will really help people advance. And I think that's something that I'm dealing with constantly, right? Because you want to be, in at least in my space, you want to have designed the cover art. You want to be the editor. You want to be the author. Because that's 4 things right there. You want to be the audio engineer. You want to be the voice. All those things are amazing, but can you do it all?
Yeah, because you did
not
the audio
realistically.
Book too.
I did. Amazon is having some trouble rejecting it over and over again, but that's okay. It's a battle I'm gonna win, boys and girls.
Why do you think? Is it something about like the clarity or something, the audio quality?
Oh no, EK and I have edited the heck out of that thing. It is clear as day. I think that somebody over there might just be a little offended at the content based on what it's getting rejected for. I don't want to go into it just because it's still pending.
Can you do? Sorry, Mike. Can you hand me something real quick? Can you hand me that book real quick before?
Are you going to kill a spider?
Yeah,
that's what my book is fantastic for.
You designed this?
I did, yes.
You drew that?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Dude, that's pretty good.
And then I found a guy on Fiverr to stencil over it, and I think that was like $250.
Oh, okay. So what, you kind of drew like the outline with like the bong and the condom, like all the shit on the toilet and stuff?
Yes, it's super embarrassing. Yeah, I drew that when I was 18 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And now it's the cover of your book.
Yeah.
That's
really that
neat,
goes
man.
back to what I was saying about ego, right? You want to do all these things yourself because, especially in book writing, all these people want a cut of what you're doing. And when you're already not making a whole lot and then you have to split a cut or pay these people to do these things for you, you end up in the minus a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's how it is with podcasts too, right? Time is money, my friend. So every time you're doing a podcast, you're effectively losing money in some other mechanism in your life, right? Be it comedy or
right, especially as long as
whatever.
As long as the podcast isn't monetized and nobody's sponsoring it too, like because I don't get paid for this, you know what I mean? This is time that I take out of my day. But the idea is that I'm creating a backlog and I'm helping get myself out there. And I'm giving a lot of the podcast was born out of the podcast. The This Is Not Art business page that I started, and this is not a Facebook group that I started. A lot of those were born out of me getting sick of just promoting myself and comedian Scott Wharton. So I tried to create these other platforms to highlight other people. Out of like the weird ego death fucking whatever that we were talking about earlier, you know what I mean? The crazy internal battle that I've been going through for the past 2 years.
Of trying to monetize yourself and treat yourself as a commodity. It's tough.
Yeah.
And which actually goes back to your question of, do you think you'd do better being managed? Yes, of course. I think somebody lining up things for you, picking events, schedules, a marketing machine behind you is always great. Having other editors allows you to quickly just work on something, pass it off, let somebody else deal with the editing process. In my opinion, that's the worst process. I'd rather create and throw it to somebody else.
Yeah, no, and I've been really lucky, and I mean, all of the Fredericksburg comedy and the improv troupe has been really lucky because, Jim, excuse me.
Swanson.
Woo!
God bless you.
Thank you, God. Jim, that does improv with us, his girlfriend Michelle, she's been running the computer for us, like getting our suggestions and stuff on Friday nights. She has been helping set up our events so that people will know like when we're going live. She's been making flyers for improv and for FXBG comedy. She's been helping do all these little things. She set up a Hootsuite, which is basically like Wolf, like from The Office. So her and I can get on there and go say, I want to post this flyer with this information, and I can go send it to Born in Quarantine Twitter, my Twitter, Born in Quarantine Facebook, my Facebook. Like I can go send it to all these platforms at once and spit it out instead of having to jump around like. But I'm not going to say she's our manager, but having somebody like that just to help, and they're in huge ways, but just to help us in like those ways has just taken so much stress off my back and other people's backs so that we can focus more on the creative end. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, that's what we want to do.
Catch.
Yes, she is.
You need a couple more of her, and you guys will have all of the management spots set perfect. But she's also a super fan, right?
Well,
being a super fan of her boyfriend enables you guys not to take advantage, but to reap the spoils of her wanting his success.
right.
Because you're in the same trope as him, which is cool.
Yeah, she cares about us. And I mean, she's part of the family and the team just as much as we are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So we're really blessed to have that. And then, like, a lot of the comedians, like, we've been kind of working together too and been like, hey, what if we did this skit together? Like, you know, cool. Or what if we did that skit? What if we said this? What if we did that? What if we do this? Hey, do you guys want to host this show? Do you want to do this type of show? So just like trading all these resources and knowledge has been so beneficial too, instead of like negatively criticizing each other, we can like constructively criticize each other and trade resources and all kind of grow together. Which has been fucking amazing.
I think that becomes easier once you start working with somebody a little bit more. I think in the beginning, it's tough to take criticism from people that you're not sure what their best intention is, right?
Yeah.
Because you never want to take criticism from somebody that's not out to help you.
Yeah.
If you're taking criticism from somebody that's out to hurt you, then you're changing yourself for essentially your enemy or not your crowd or your basis. So you're like diverting from what's actually making you successful.
Yeah, and you're not like writing for yourself anymore at that point too, because
Exactly.
like, you're your best audience. You know what I mean? Like if you can make yourself laugh, then you're like, it's so important. It's so important to be your number one fan and your number one critic.
I agree.
Did you started writing comedy during quarantine, didn't you?
I did. My comedy story is a little funny just because I'm in the mix right now where I want to get all of my books done because
all of your books? What other books do you have?
I got a lot of books in the works. But I think that I'm so obsessive that I need to get these things done one at a time because if I go into comedy, then I'm going to leave all of the books behind and just jump into that. And I think that I have not necessarily a great thing going, but I have a system and it's working and I'm pumping out books and I want to keep writing.
Right on. I mean, and there's no reason, like, after you get more established in comedy, because, like, once you start doing comedy, you're going to want to focus on that. You know what I mean? Like, not be writing full time in this way. And then after you've, for lack of a better term, mastered comedy, or feel more comfortable doing comedy years down the road, then you can go back and in your free time, every couple years, you can write another book. And then, like, there's no reason that one won't help the other grow. If this book becomes successful, well, that helps comedian Mike Reid. If comedian Mike Reid becomes successful, that helps author Mike Reid.
Exactly. And if anybody decides they want to use my voice for something, that would also be a dream for me because then all I have to do is talk. You don't have to do anything. You're the voice behind the camera.
Don't you narrate, like, autoerotic asphyxiation tales for homeopathic?
I do, but it's for personal clients. So if anybody wants to just send me a message, I can put my details at the end of this. But I can narrate anything sexy for you in this voice. You just let me know. I have no shame. OnlyFans / no shame Mike Reid.
In a world where boners don't exist.
In a world where boners don't exist, there was one, Scott Wharton, a boner to dominate them all. His boner stood so tall that all buildings were modeled after it.
That's just a fact.
That actually is a fact. All buildings are pretty much phallic in some nature.
Yeah, we want to fuck the sky. Like, I get it.
We do want to fuck the sky.
Bro, have you ever seen the stars on a good night? I be wanting to fuck the sky, man. I tell you what, don't you act like you ain't never wanted to fuck it. Come on. Every once in a while, you just want to pull your dick out and dip it in the Milky Way, baby.
True enough.
I knew it. Take that milk bath with your wee-wee.
And we have the northern lights up here, so it's absolutely beautiful. It just looks like green and purple through the sky.
Mike, without telling me the What? I'm sure the Northern Lights are beautiful. I'm changing the fucking subject, all right?
I'm laughing because you're so transparent. You're going to be like, without telling me all of the facts, can you tell me a little bit about this book that I haven't read yet? Is that where you're going?
Mike, look, I know that I moved in here in like fucking April or May, and when I did that, you were talking to EK every night because you guys were working on this book, and I was like, man, I'm going to read that book. And then you sent it, and I was like, man, I'm going to read this book. And then I was like, every day I'm like, man, I'm going to read that book. And then every day I'm like, man, I'm going to read Facebook.
Oh, that's like me with sprints every day. I'm like, I'm going to do some sprints today. And then I do one and violently vomit in my backyard and come back inside.
Another thing, too, is like, this is EK's book. You sent this to EK. And I've been trying to start off my morning, like my daily habits with going and reading this books instead of reading this phone. So like I want to take my book in the bathroom, you know what I mean? Like I don't want my pathogen fucking, you know what I mean? Like I don't want my poo particles and pathogens getting on EK's book, man. You know?
Yeah, it's like that Seinfeld episode where George takes the big book into the bathroom and they flag it. And every time he tries to return it, they say, this book has been in a bathroom. I got you.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. No, that's why it's important to diversify your works. If somebody doesn't want to read the text and they're a visual person, then you make a movie. If somebody doesn't like the movie and they're an auditory person, then you make an audiobook. So I'm trying to do it all.
Right. And kind of diversify your outlets, too. Because like you said, you wrote the book, and now you want to do comedy. I do comedy, I do fucking podcast, improv, whatever. But there's also like, I don't want to say limit yourself, because I hate telling anybody to limit yourself, but don't half-ass too many things. Like, whole-ass a couple things, or just one thing. Like,
and that's what I was talking to you about with pursuing comedy, right? If I'm going to be spending a bulk of my time writing books that have nothing to do with creating jokes, and then I can't put all of my time into creating jokes, I don't want to do it because I want to get that gut-busting laugh. I want to create the energy in the room that makes people say, oh, I'm so happy I came to this club and gave them my $5 or $10 and bought a couple drinks.
Right.
You know?
I wonder if like going from writing books like this to writing jokes, or if you were doing both at the same time, especially doing this more heavily and jokes on the side, if it would make your jokes more wordy. Like just too
It does
too
make
wordy.
them very wordy, I believe. Yeah, exactly. Because you're trying to describe something in detail, right?
Right. You're trying to figure out how to offer your perspective to the other person, because that's what it's all about.
The autumn bushes rustled in the wind as I walked down the center of the sidewalk. Like, that's not important. Buddy was walking down the fucking sidewalk in the middle of autumn, right?
Right. So what was
Can we swear on here? Am I in trouble? Am I going to get kicked off now?
EK actually said that you cannot swear on here. Everybody,
I saw the little flag pop up.
Hi, hello, Scott here again, your host. We just wanted to let you know that the views and opinions offered by Mike Reid do not reflect that of FXBG Public Radio, myself, or my dog Bo. Okay. Now, what were you saying, General Sal?
I don't even remember. It probably wasn't important, but General Tso is one of the best foods ever, I think. General Tso's chicken.
I think we can all agree on General Tso's. That should honestly be like our national dish as a country.
It should be a staple in the North American diet. It shouldn't just be centralized to American. That's why I updated to North American. It should just be all of us.
I'm waiting for like a bunch of people who think that they're America to answer and be like, no, Scott, it's not General Tso's. That's not the American dish. It's hamburgers and hot dogs. That's what we eat on 4th of July. And I'm like, oh, you mean from Hamburg and Frankfurt, Germany, you dumb motherfuckers? Sorry.
Speaking of Germany, Oktoberfest is coming up soon, right?
Yeah, uber good time, Oktoberfest. You know, Wolfgang comes out. We go in the backyard. We spin around many times until we get all silly and dizzy in the head. And then we walk around downtown with a uber good friend, Ike Billis. Yeah, Ike Billis. And we go to the spirits and we yell, oh no, oh no, Peaches! Oh no, Peaches! Oh no, Peaches, run! So yeah, we run and we leave the bar and we're like, oh crazy, look at the sky, it's crazy. And be like, we go home and we go oons, cause the friends, they are at the lost lands and we are at the couch lands, but we are like on the front porch and smoke as many cigarettes and we look at the stars and we're like, yeah, ooh.
So do you have any gigs planned for October?
No, yes. All right, I'm very excited about Halloween night, which is a full moon. And you know,
That's pretty awesome.
and you know that on the full moon on Halloween, I am definitely gonna go in the backyard and spin around a bunch of times until I'm dizzy. Until
You be careful
until
out
I
there.
induce a mystical experience. I'm gonna go downtown and do that. And then
You're gonna be fucking the sky.
oh, I am the sky. I am not your autumn moon. I am the night. Chris Cornell.
So how is it working in a comedy trope?
Chris Cornell was Batman. Excellent question, EK. EK just asked me if Chris Cornell was Batman. Yes. Where is she? Yeah, that's actually what the song Black Hole Sun was about. Yeah, not a lot of people know that. The song Black Hole Sun was about, it was from Batman's dad's point of view. Because he was, you get it. You guys get it. You get it. You get it. I feel like I'm finally being myself on my fucking podcast. Hi.
Isn't that a good thing?
Nice to meet you.
You just took the right guest.
Yeah. Yeah, you set me up perfectly for that one. What were we talking about before that?
Doing the right thing for the right reason.
Yeah, we do the right things for the right reasons because we get the right results, Mike Reid.
Exactly.
I want to hear you talk about fun things. What was your... I don't want you to tell me the best story from this book that you want me to read because I don't want you to ruin the best, funnest story. But tell me one of your favorite stories from this book. But not the best one. But tell the best one, but just make people think it's not the best one, right? Because fuck them.
Okay.
Just make them buy your book, dog. Because, yo, it's not even words. It's just pictures of dicks. See?
Yeah, I don't even, to be honest, I don't know what my favorite story is because I haven't even read the book. I was just slugging whiskey, and the next day it said, your book has been approved, and I'm like, holy shit, I wrote a book? My favorite story, okay. One of my favorite stories out of there is that we pushed a screen out of our window so that we could smoke weed on the roof of a 13-story dorm, and I think that is super cool because it's not something you get to do every day.
That is really cool.
And we're speaking about the stars. There was no light pollution in Radford. We were in the mountains, so all you could see was the stars. The shitty part was all you could also hear is the bubbling of a bong because there was nobody else outside. You know, like if you're sleeping in your 13-story dorm and you hear a bubbling outside your window, you're like, holy fuck, is it Casper getting high out there or what?
Dude, that sounds really amazing.
I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like I can like feel the experience, you know what I mean? Like you can feel the energy of that experience, like chilling on the roof, watching the stars, taking big bong hits with your buddies. Riding the goat. You know?
EK and his roommate gave us some hash one time that probably wasn't entirely hash. EK the DJ.
I admit to nothing.
Is that a type of like candy or something? I'm not familiar.
Okay, this is an individual that's in the story that is my big brother within the fraternity.
Okay.
I believe he's also doing some engineering these days.
It's possible.
So it's possible. He gave us some hash. We got really fucked up, and we started actually tripping balls. And we're walking back to our dorm, which is 5 or 6 blocks away, and we see a person hanging out of a passenger side of a car, and it's driving down the street, and they're slamming something on all of the cars as they're driving by. It's tickets. They're ticketing all of the cars, and it's cops. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They stop and they put their light on us. We're both like deer in headlights, right? Why are we out at 2 o'clock in the morning, two 18-year-olds, and we're highly like intoxicated? So we just took off running. But before we took off running, I said, "Hey, John, we should take off running." But when I turned to look, he was already gone. He was like 30 feet ahead of me, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck! Like, I might be screwed here." We did make it away, but yeah, that was also one of those stories where you're like, "Oh man, this could have gone a lot worse than it actually did." I don't know. The whole book's full of crap like that. It's things that young men do because they think that they're invincible and that they need to be put in check. And hopefully, all of us make it through that period of our lives, and we don't get put in jail or get other freedoms taken away.
Yeah, I'm glad I made it through that point in my life because it was a long, many years that I was kind of riding that road, and I'm finally on a better path now. I found Jesus. No.
18-year-olds are reckless, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wild when I was 18, dude. I was not doing the right things at all. Definitely not for the right reasons.
Thinking you're smarter than everybody else and being younger than everybody else are two of the worst combinations possible.
Yeah. Arrogance is an ugly trait.
It is.
Which I would just like to apologize to you, Canada, on behalf of me and the rest of my people.
On behalf of Canada, we forgive you.
Oh, how very kind of you, Canada.
I don't know if the Canadian border feels the same way, but I do.
Oh.
I forgive you guys.
Oh, don't you know? Why don't you turn the fuck around, hey? Why don't you go home back where you came from, huh? We don't like your kind around here, don't you know?
I was actually hoping that I'd have some shirts for this podcast. I ordered them from Tennessee to support you guys, and that was like 2 months ago, and they still haven't come. So
We have shirts available from Tennessee?
Yeah.
What shirts?
I don't want to denigrate the website just in case they actually show up.
Do you know what kind of shirts are they?
They're all advertisements of my book, and they have I don't want to spoil it because I might resell them. They're actually pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we were confused. We thought you were talking about shirts that you got from us.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, we're not selling anything in Tennessee.
I was like, what kind of merch you got? I was like, what kind of merch of mine did you get? You didn't order any Enjoy the Trip shirts yet? What are you doing?
No, I just I stole the logo off your website, and then I had it ironed onto one of my shirts here locally.
Smart.
I'm just kidding. Always support your indie artists, guys. It doesn't cost a lot to buy a shirt.
Did you get it tattooed on your butt cheek?
No, I don't have any tattoos. I don't like to be able to be identified by marks on my body.
Bro, you're already 6'7", dude. Just do it.
Yeah, but I mean,
identifiable.
he's 6'7" and has a picture of Mario on his butt cheek. Then that is what defines
don't run
me.
around naked and you'll be fine. Get stilts so you appear taller than.
I'm sorry, buddy. I will be running around naked for another 5 to 10 years to come until I'm
how old are you, Mike?
saggy and gross. I'm 34.
So what? You wrote this book, what? 8 years later? No.
I wrote that book when I was 18 years old.
I know, but
so I
you
wrote it
released
16 years later.
I'm good at math.
Yeah, it's okay. So 16 years later, and I'm still living through my past. But not really. That's actually why I'm trying to get these done, is I don't want to have to think about those times. I already have them written down and recorded.
Right.
The point is to get the story out, share it. If anybody thinks it's awesome, funny, sad, crappy, whatever, at least it sparked some emotion in them.
Right. So
they didn't waste
it's like
too much time on it.
It's like a therapeutic exercise as well. It's like you're getting this off your chest, and you're like, well, let me see if I can monetize it too. Fuck it.
To be honest, the monetization isn't that big for me. It's a break-even point. If I can break even, then that's great. But it's expensive. Expensive to put out books.
Fuck that. I want them to make your book in a goddamn Hulu original.
It didn't work out too well for what was it, Tucker Max?
Tucker Max. That sounds.
Do they serve beer in hell? I think he's got a very similar parallel to my book.
Sounds like a porn star name.
Does sound like a porn star name.
Is that your favorite homoerotic adult film star?
Honestly, I'm so narcissistic that I think my favorite homoerotic, well, Wait, let me phrase this correctly. I think my favorite adult male film star would be myself. No, you? Oh, well, you said homoerotic, and then you're pointing to yourself. I mean,
You don't
if
look.
I'm gonna do it with
Hold
another
on.
guy, it's gonna be me, right?
Do you masturbate in the mirror with full eye contact too?
Of course.
Yes,
Of course.
thank you. What? I don't understand people. People are crazy, man.
If I can't jerk off to myself, how can I expect anybody else to jerk off to me?
Yo, exactly. You have to love yourself. It starts with self first and foremost. Like
Exactly.
I have been trying to tell everybody that. But you know what? Let success be thy proof. Convert not,
Mhm.
talk not over much. It's just, just let success be thy proof. So what you want to do is a good friend. I just told my good friend Ike Billis. Everybody go check him out. Ike Billis, he is a famous rock star. He was telling me, you know what? I'm gonna hold this one for another time. Mike,
Oh no!
we're building the suspense, baby. We'll get Mike on the podcast later on this month, and he'll talk about his new. Mike's been doing some scientific research out there. He ain't got no cable TV or no internet, so Mike's been doing some research, and he has the numbers and the statistics and the physics. So I need him to come on here and talk about his findings. So Mike, if you're listening, which I know you are, right? Because it's Mike, I know you're listening because it's 9:54 on Monday morning, and you're just turning on the Scottcast. How weird would it be if Mike was listening to this?
Which Mike?
No, not Mike Reid.
Oh my, yeah, that would be funny as crap.
If he was listening to it in his front loader, yeah. It's like as soon as they'd be like, wait a second.
Recorded last night.
I
Pulls
made
out
up
his phone. He's like, "Holy crap! I got to buy a lottery ticket."
and I have to kill Scott. Bro, I'm just a psyop. I'm just a psychological operation. I'm actually a CIA plant. I'm a FICA, actually.
Why is that your go-to? Why is everybody a CIA plant? Why can't they just be like a garden plant?
I'm writing that down. Can I write that down? Hold on.
Don't steal my jokes.
Hold on. Do you mind if I? All right. Look, I just wrote down in my book earlier. I was gonna do this with you. I was gonna see if you wanted to like go over some jokes or something. 'Cause I just wrote in my book. Yeah, I just wrote in my book. I'm a psyop. See? Psyop. See? CIA plant. See? Right here. Look, I'll show you. Right here.
So do you just write down an idea and then you try to spark out of that idea into a spider web of different jokes? Or do you just have the fully written joke? Okay, here we go. Okay, so there's a dick.
All right, no. What I did is after I got back from my experience, that's what we're calling them now. After I was kind of unwinding from my experience, I started writing down like some of the, because when I'm with my people and like being silly and goofy, I almost like go into like improv, like silly, goofy, fucking comedy mode, and I start spitting all this shit out. I almost do like I'll do a set if you let me. Like I will sit there and crack jokes and like do a set. And I was just kind of doing that. And so when I got back home, I was like, well, let me write down some of these kind of like key like skit ideas or premises that I had, and some of just like the key words that I kept like tagging with and like joking about last night. Before they all left my memory, because my synapses are going like. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get this shit down before it's gone. So that's what I did last night. I just came home and was like, the first thing I wrote down, my bad brain would rather scroll Facebook than read Alan Watts' The Book. And like, once again, these things are all very base. Like, this is just me starting, like, just to get this shit kind of off my head into a place so I can like word it better. Then I wrote down PSYOP, Mick Foley, a skit idea for like the skit idea is I forgot how to operate in the world without trying to make the everyday environment a comedy sketch. So it's just basically like a skit of me like going around like, all right, so here's the scene, guys. All right, you ready? All right, so
and it's you trying to avoid doing that?
Well, it's like it's like almost like a true life. Maybe like a true life. Like I can't exist without trying to turn everything to like a comedy. Like my friends that I party with, God bless their souls, man, for putting up with my crazy ass. Thank you guys. I love you so much. But I'm always like, I usually always bring my notebooks with me to parties, and I'll like pull that shit out of my jacket and just start like scribing. Just like scribing and joking and scribing and joking. And I'm always like trying to bring GoPros, and I'm like, guys, we need to film this. We're funny. Like, we're funny. And my fucking friend's girlfriend would always be like, every group of stoner guys thinks they're funny. That's what you sound like when you say that. I love you. No. And then it's like, she'd be like that, like, every group of stoner friends thinks they're the funniest in the world, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but how many of them put forth the effort to create something out of it, to like put in the intent to be like, yo, we are funny together, like, let's build a idea and make a fucking movie and make something. And like Broken Lizard, Monty Python, Seth Rogen, and fucking James Franco, like, they're not the only people that are fucking funny. Like, I know if you, EK, and I spent a fucking week here together, if you, EK, and I spent 12 hours here together with no music on and no TV on and sat here and brainstormed ideas and started talking, we would bang shit out. And it would be fucking funny. And we would go, and if we really put forth the effort, we could make something good. Maybe I'm just super confident. Maybe I'm just fucking got my head in the clouds, man, and I'm just unrealistic. But
well, you don't know until you try, right?
I know that I'm fucking funny. I am very confident in the fact that I'm funny. I know how I am when I'm around my friends, and I know how hilarious my friends and my fellow comedians and I are. And I know that even without me, that all those people that like, if they wanted to do those things and have that fun, because that's what it's all about. It's just about, yo, let's have fun and get paid to do it. Like, bro, I'm not trying to be a fucking billionaire, man. Like, if I could fucking make a livable wage doing comedy, that's all I need. It would be great to be able to get the fucking treehouse, commune and the music festival fucking plot of land where I can build a stage and do my own shows all the time, and I will make that happen. But even if I don't, like, just being able to support myself is what I want from this. And without having to go clock in for somebody else or fucking slave my life away, man. Because that's just not, that life just isn't for me. And hey, I mean, I guess everybody's different. There are some people who would rather, like, be anonymous than be in front of the fucking camera. Like, some people don't want to be whatever. And it's not a fame thing, man. It's just like, this is fun to me, and I just want to have fun with people, and I want to play, and I want people to do it with, and I want to make people laugh. I want to laugh with people. Like, that's what I want, because that's fun to me. That's fun. That's what makes me happy. I found my happiness. Like, now I have to go out and get it.
I think that you finding your happiness through something that you enjoy and being able to be your own boss in that area is not something that everybody can do. And I think that takes a lot of confidence in itself, right? Being able to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to clock in for somebody else, but I know that I'm going to have to put in like 80 hours a week of work to make that happen for the first while. And that's what the harsh reality is.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm at right now, because it's like, I have all of the opportunity available to me right now to do that and work for myself. But because of my lack of self-discipline, instead of getting up in the morning and pretending like it's an actual work day, getting up at 7 o'clock, going and doing getting up, meditate, stretch, let the dog out, use the bathroom, take a shower, knock the cobwebs off, eat and toke, and then go, okay, time to go to work at 8 o'clock and turn my phone off, and until 2 o'clock sit here and work on the things that I have to work on to get to where I need to be. Write jokes for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Sit here and go, I'm going to go in here and record. Because I have everything. I have everything that I could ever need to do. Like,
you do.
It's not mine.
You're
but
living
it's
in a
mine to
studio
use.
house.
I'm living in a studio. There's 2 studios here. He showed me how to use a GarageBand the other night. I'm about to start going and doing. That's something I'm going to start doing this week. Is trying to find out like voiceover work. Yeah, because we can do all the silly voices. You know, this will be uber good time for everyone. This will be very fun. And like that's work from home. That's work that you can do remotely. So ultimately, that's something I could do in the van with a laptop and a good microphone setup and all that shit. That's ultimately something I can do on the road. And so yeah, I'm just like trying to figure out these other. I gotta focus, man. I gotta buckle the fuck down and stop fucking off. And I gotta stop saying fuck so much.
I like how I get the red flag for it, but you're just throwing it out like it's candy.
You're a bad person, dude. I say the F word so much, and I need to stop that.
It matter. Some people think that it's not very endearing to swear a lot, and that it makes you look like a commonplace peasant. But I don't think that using more sophisticated language makes you a smarter person. I think that using language that allows people to understand what you're trying to communicate, that's what makes you a good, smart person.
Yeah.
At least conversing, right?
Yeah, but there's still like a moderation, I think, and I've been using the F word excessively, and it's I've gone back and watched my sets, and I've been like, bro, you said the F word like 20 times, and it's distracting. It's a crutch. It's the equivalent of a valley girl going like, so like, I went to the mall the other day and like, Bobby was like, oh my god, Brittany, like, ha.
Not gonna lie, I do that like all the time.
But that's exactly what I'm doing. What's up, Luca? Where's Bo? Bo, come here. Come here, Bo. Come here, now. Bo.
A dog and a child have entered the chat room.
Yeah, a dog and a child has entered the chat room. Bo was like laying down, and Luca like walked in here all quietly, and I'm like, "Oh, bro, you can't approach the dog like this. We talked about this, man." Bo, come here, buddy.
Nothing like sneaking up on a guard dog.
And that's the thing is like, all right, here's like the double bind that Bo and I are in right now. It's like he's a good dog, he's a super loving dog, but he has had a history of nipping at people. So, like, he goes to, like, see people or, like, get around people, and he's cool at first. And then the second that my brain is, like, I start stressing. I'll like, stress out. I'm like, fuck, I hope Bo doesn't bite that person. And, like, as soon as I think that, it's like Bo is like, why is my owner stressing out right now? And he, like, wants to bite people. I'm like, fuck, dude, like,
you're 100% projecting it, right?
Yeah, I'm like projecting it. I'm like, because like you heard just now, Luke, like the kid walked in the room, and I wasn't like, come here, Bobo. I wasn't all like sweet and loving. Like, I got tense. I was like, Bo, come here. So like, he's catching that energy and that tension where I'm like, Bo, come here, and he's like tighten up too. Like, why are we tight? What's going on right now? Instead of like me being like fun and playful, love, like, come here, buddy. Like, let's hang out. Bobo, come here. Want to do a podcast, man?
Yeah, bring them up here. Creatures can always understand how you're feeling. That's why they're so awesome.
Yeah, right? I know.
I saw a little bird get murdered this morning. It was pretty horrific. So my wife and I were going for a walk, and this huge magpie swooped down and grabbed this little tiny bird that was on this person's driveway, and then started ripping it in half.
That's pretty awesome.
My wife is a very sweet woman, and she ran over to try to save it, but I had to tell her to stop because of lots of reasons. One, it was already way far too gone. And two, birds carry a lot of diseases. Right now, that's the last thing you need to be fucking with is some sort of avian flu.
Yeah. No
so that was kind of sad for a walk.
That's fucked up,
But
man.
coming fully circular, animals can like pick up on energy. So if you're like skittish, then they become skittish. Same with like cats, any sort of animal, ferrets.
And that's exactly
birds.
what's been happening here, especially because, and you can't blame the kid because he's a child and he got bit in the face, and it's like, how else is he going to respond to that? You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be happy about that. So naturally, he's like skittish of the dog now. And like, because of that, he's like, if he wants to come see EK, but Bo is somewhere between him and EK laying down, like, Luca's reaction is to like tiptoe and sneak, and it's like, bro, that's the total opposite of what you need to be doing right now, buddy. He wants to be friends with Bo.
It could be worse. It could be worse. He could be walking like he's trying to scare off a bear, like this, in a big menacing manner.
But the worst part about it is, like, him and Bo want to be friends. Like, they want to be friends. Like, you can see it. You can tell it from both of them. But they don't understand how the other one operates because they've never, like, Bo's never really been around children, and the child has never really been around dogs. Or at least not dogs like Bo that tend to have an aggressive nature. You know what I mean? That, because if, like you said, dogs mirror our emotions and stuff. So if you're like tense, trembling, fearful, the dog's like, fucking why, dude? Like, why are you scared right now? Like, where's this fear-based emotion coming from?
Yeah, should I be scared too? What's going on? Is there something you know that I don't know? You're smart. You're the human.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm scared.
Oh, yeah, and why aren't you telling me what the thing is that we're scared of?
I have a vast understanding of words. I understand good boy and doctor and treats.
That's actually all the words I know, too.
Me too. Well,
Fine
there's
dining
a couple others.
and breathing.
Butthole.
Actually, you're too old for that reference. I'm sorry.
I feel like the word butthole has become popular since OnlyFans has become popular as well.
You have to spell it with a 0 instead of a O, though.
So it gets through all the filters?
Yeah. At least for me.
Perfect.
Or else I get 45 days in the hole.
So is that from posting porn, or why did you get banned?
Man, I got banned because I started speaking out about Palestine and Israel, and they were like, dude, fuck Palestine. I'm like, whoa, Zuckerberg. Just because your last name is Berg, man, doesn't mean, like, the Palestinians is good people, too.
So do you see what the problem is about trying to speak your mind on somebody else's platform? Is that you don't have any control, ultimately, right? So that's why it's way better just to put out a book, and then it's behind a paywall. And if people want to read it and comment negatively on it, you know that you got money from them. Sorry to anybody that bought my book and thinks that I'm punishing you. That's not true. They'd have to pay to be negative, and on top of that, like, it's already out there. So, like, your post can be deleted. But what are they going to do? Round up all the books and fucking burn them? Like, this is the 15th century? Well, 13th century, 14th century, every century that's had major kings and wars? Yeah.
Or like the 1940s when this guy named Adolf was like, we're going to burn a bunch of these books, bro. Fuck you, occultist. Yeah. We're going to burn these books.
Yep, exactly. So putting stuff on other people's platforms, it's kind of like...
So what you're saying is that that the dictator of Third Reich Germany was a plant for the Catholic Church. Is that what you're trying to say? And that's why they were out there burning occult literature?
I'm saying that...
slaughtering a different culture, religion of people?
I'm saying that anytime that you put out anything that you think is witty, creative, or anything like that, that some asshole can just blast it out of existence if they have the ability to and they disagree with it. I mean, obviously it was one of your friends that reported you, right?
No, I think I mean, I'm sure it started off as somebody reporting me once upon a time, and it had to be like, I mean, we can call them a Facebook friend, but they're a fucking hater, and we both know it. So, so some hater, because somebody was doing it to my YouTube live streams a while back, too. When COVID first started, the first 2 YouTube live streams I put out, like 4 minutes in, like the same timestamp, both of them got cut. And I went back and watched them, and like we weren't talking about anything like absurd or like conspiratorial or anything weird in those first 4 minutes. So I was like, what happened? And I think what happened is some hater subscribed to my YouTube and then was just like reporting my videos. And then since COVID had just hit and all these companies didn't have their like regulators in there to regulate, like Warren G, they didn't have anybody to actually check to see if it was like worthy of being pulled down. So they just automatically pull shit that people reported.
Typically, most of these systems are based off of a number flag. And once that threshold is surpassed, manual checks are hardly ever done.
Okay.
And even when they are, they usually say something along the lines of, yeah, this is correct, or we're not going to examine this, the bot is right. Usually they don't look at it unless you're super popular. But all of them work on thresholds. So if somebody gets reported X amount of times in X period, then they're just done. That's it. And that's in like certain video games too, and other platforms. You can just hire a bunch of people to report somebody's post and it'll get taken down.
Wow.
Same with if you want to get somebody's, please don't get my shit taken down, anybody that's watching, but if you wanted to get somebody's video taken off YouTube, you claim that that's your content. And then contested content gets taken down.
Wow. So I guess people and companies would use similar tactics to attack like a business on Google or Yelp as well.
Absolutely. Now that's sort of, you can get defamation suits, and there's actually companies that will try to sue people that leave negative reviews on their Yelp and their Google, and it's like such bullshit, because if I have a bad experience with the company and I leave a review and they try to sue me, you know, I'll see you in fucking court and I'll bring my review with me on why you were a terrible company.
Okay.
I just posted this today though. There's too many people that back down, too many smart people that are cowards and submissive to too many dumb people.
Elaborate on that. Like who?
I don't want to like go into a specific example, but
I know what
I
two scoops looks like, Ben and Jerry's lady. Don't short me that extra scoop.
If you think about the protests that are going on right now, or people that just stand by and watch great injustices being what?
EK just went on this. EK's. You're gonna have to start over. EK went on this tangent, and I'm like, why didn't you just click your face on the fucking screen like you?
I know, I saw.
All right, go back to what you were talking about, Mike. Rewind it just a little bit. I'm really sorry. That was rude of me.
Great justices will always continue to occur when men just stand by and let them happen. Yeah. And there's so many smart men that watch dumb people do things, and they think, oh, I shouldn't correct his behavior, or there's no arguing with stupid, I'll just let it happen. And that just brings everybody down. So that's the example that I want to use. There's always somebody that can make it better, but they just have to stand up and do the right thing.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like that could be said about a lot of different individuals on both sides of kind of the conflicts that we see going on in the world right now and in my country.
It doesn't even have to be applied to political agendas, just to make this clear. Like, this
just
statement
to people as a whole,
transcends politics. Yeah,
right.
Like, if I'm on a work site with a bunch of young men that aren't experienced and aren't wearing hard hats or safety glasses, it's my responsibility to bestow upon them the knowledge that they could lose their vision or have some sort of head injury that's going to affect them for the next 50 years. It's a smart person protecting somebody that thinks they know better, rather than just standing by and being like, all right, I'll let them figure it out on their own. You know, sometimes it's nice just to say something and have somebody tell you to fuck off, rather than not say something at all.
Right. So it's like, you can still kind of like try to teach somebody without being preachy and like self-righteous like, no, this is how it is. You're gonna fucking die if you don't wear that thing. You should be like, you can kind of give them the keys, but only they can open the door. You can't like shove their hand in.
I think it gets harder as you get older because you think you know better.
Yeah, you get more stubborn.
Especially if you've had an experience, right? You're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. So, do you have any experiences with that?
I have tons of experiences with that.
Did you?
I have lost friends because people have made racist comments in front of me. I've lost jobs because people have been stealing, and I didn't think that that was appropriate from customers or from the business itself. I've always held myself to a high moral standard as far as integrity goes, and I think that I'm one of those people that you can trust no matter what, and that's because I'll be truthful and take whatever consequence comes my way because of that truth, no matter how big or small the truth is. And it's the same that could be said about how big or how small a lie is. If somebody tells you lies or tells other people lies while you're there and you know that it's not a truth and they say, oh, sorry, I was just trying to make X and X feel this way. Well, how do I know you weren't doing that to me? Or how do I know you won't do that to me with something greater? And I try to surround myself with people like myself that are loyal and have integrity, but that's freaking hard. And I think that's one of the greatest things I gained from my fraternity, at least being able to meet a large majority of people that respect life and their fellow human the same way. But that's not to say that everybody in the fraternity is a perfect person, right? Or that I did click with them or that they were that kind of person. And I think that's anywhere you go. Sorry to sound so preachy, but that's me.
That didn't sound
So, yes,
preachy at all. That was just
it.
open and honest. That wasn't preachy. That was just an anecdotal experience. To kind of a take it or leave it. I didn't find that preachy, bud. So you think? So you believe that there is some importance to this as far as like brotherhood and accountability and for self
Absolutely.
and for other.
Yeah.
Integrity. There's some integrity to be found in here, huh?
And unfortunately, you have to dig through some drug stories and misogyny, and there's not any discrimination there because that's never been a part of my life, or at least not something that I scoped in on. It's always been something I've defended people from, and I don't know. I think that it's a good story and that people would like it if they listen to at least the audiobook that Eric and I are putting out on YouTube or the audiobook on Amazon. It's all there to be listened to.
So when's your podcast come out?
Eric has 4 episodes recorded that we're just waiting for some music to, and then that's it. And I know he's making a face over there, but it's probably one of those faces like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Is he even awake right now?
He has
did just check the time.
Yeah, he has like the most soulless blank expression on his face up until you said that about the time. He had a very blank expression on his face. He kind of looked at his watch, looked at me, nodded, and then you said something silly and he smiled, and now he's still smiling. He's looking at me, smiling, eyes squinted, smiling.
Because now he's anticipating an end to this podcast, which is okay if that's what you want to do.
No, he could.
It was a pleasure being here.
No. I'm not anticipating that. I'm still wandering in this conversation. So
we're wandering deep into the conversational forest. Go ahead.
Yeah, what? I don't know. What do you think about? What do you?
What do you think about?
What do you? Yeah. No. What do you? When you think about the forest, what do you feel?
When I think about the forest, what do I feel? That's an odd question. What do you feel?
Wanderlust. There's this new word that I just discovered the other day. It's a Japanese word called Yugen. I'll probably pronounce that. Yugen! I think it's pronounced like that.
Okay.
Y-U-G-N. But basically it's like the description is there's no direct English translation. No direct English translation. The only way you can understand the word is to like apply it or find out how the Japanese like use it, and they usually use it to describe like they use it to describe like your 13th story screen bong roof adventure with the stars, right?
Okay.
You know, it's
spiritual.
It seemed like it's more like it's like a visual and like spiritual kind of feeling experience that you kind of get wrapped in that is nature based.
Okay.
Like watching like a beautiful sunrise, you know, over like a meadow. You know what I mean?
When I think of the forest, I think of a tiny little forest that was by one of my universities that I went to smoke weed in all the time.
Okay.
And somebody that I smoked weed in that forest used to call it Narnia. And I just thought that was hysterical. That's what you made me think of. So the forest makes me think of Narnia.
The forest makes you think of Narnia. Yeah, but what's your favorite moral that you took from Narnia? What's your favorite life lesson from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Don't eat Turkish delight,
well,
right?
Lion, the Witch, and the
do
Wardrobe,
not eat
or the
Turkish-
Narnia at that university. So the Narnia at that university, I learned that you don't want to try to take a girl there alone because they think that you're going to rape them in the forest.
True.
Always have a third person there, preferably another girl or a group of people, because it's harder to rape in a group. And then I would say that the other thing that I took was that, I don't know, from the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that
Don't eat
life
Turkish
on the
delight.
other, that the
If you
grass
don't
is not
acknowledge
greener
this
on the other
fucking
side.
reference, God.
What? I'm sorry. Like,
Acknowledge
you're
my
very,
reference. It's a good reference. I'm funny. Tell everybody I'm funny, Mike.
You are funny.
You're an excellent
You're super
author.
funny.
You're an excellent author. This foreword that you wrote for this book was just...
Aw, thank you. Thank you. I dedicated it to my dad, because as men, we all are a piece of our father, but we'll never truly know our dads. Like, we don't have the technology there yet. I'm sure that one day they'll be like, you could have a bone specimen of your dad and, like, relive all of his memories, and that'd be freaking sweet. But you don't know what they've been through and, you know, how they feel about you and how they became the men that they did. So I dedicated it to him.
That's really cool. That's touching. That's touching. Do you have any kids?
I do not.
You do not?
I do not.
Do you plan on having any kids? Are you a eunuch?
No. You never know. I'm definitely not a eunuch.
You're a hermaphrodite.
What's around the next corner?
Hermaphrodite.
So I don't
that was
wanna
the
say
other
that,
keyword
you
from
know-
last night is hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite, Wachowski sisters, brothers, and The Matrix. So I'm just going to write this down in my notebook really quick, because this is how...
Oh, am I giving you ideas?
Well, no, this is just kind of keywords from last night, kind of a...
So for anybody listening, great to know that his freaking focus is on me and not the Wachowski hermaphrodite brothers. Jesus Christ.
Bro, I spun off for a second, and I forgot to write this down earlier. I pulled out my notebook to come do this podcast because I thought we were going to go over jokes. It would be a cool thing to do. People are always like, well, I want to see the comedic process, bro. How come we don't document comedy? I'm like, yeah, let me document my fucking life. Like, let me show you how chaos works. It's like, is that what you want? I can't show you chaos.
Is that what you want, Karen?
Fucking people. Bro, if you don't...
So what are some jokes that you've thought of lately that you don't think would do well in a club, but you think are funny?
What are some jokes that I've thought of lately that I don't think would do well in the club? Joe Biden sniffs kids the same way I sniff a fresh bag of weed.
Fiercely?
I can't wait to hit that. I got another Joe Biden joke too, and I just feel like those aren't, like, they're fun right now and they're cool. And I tried to find like a way to talk about Trump too and like balance it, but I really haven't found a way to do it right. that comes off right and funny. And I just hate it because, like, I feel like that makes people think that I'm a Trumpeteer, and I'm not, just because I'm only criticizing Biden and I'm not bringing up Trump. So they're like, oh, well, he must be voting for Trump. He must be a Republican. I'm like, no, I fucking see the guy sniffing kids, and this is a funny thing to say.
Observational comedy is just that.
Yeah.
It's an observation.
Like,
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're...
I'm not trying to rig the election. I'm not a Russian plant here to, like, fucking... I promise. But I could be... Hey, maybe all those Joe Biden videos we've been seeing are Russian deepfakes, and I actually am an instrument of the KGB unknowingly spreading false propaganda. I don't fucking know, because everything's a psyop. Everything.
When we're done this, you need to check out the Vlad TV deepfake that Godfrey does. It's pretty funny.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a comedian that does a bunch of impressions, and every time he's doing a different impression of different actors, his face changes to that actor. So it's super cool.
Oh, that's weird. That's creepy,
yeah.
Man. I don't
so
know
it like changes to Bill Cosby as he makes Bill Cosby jokes, and then moves on to like Denzel.
EK and I were talking the other day. I think it was you and I the other day. We were talking about the series of coincidences that have been happening this year, one of which being kind of like at the beginning of the year, everything that was going on with those encryption legislations, and then everything that's going on with like deep fakes, and then you have all the mask regulations, like forcing everybody to only show half their faces. And I think it was EK that was like, this almost seems like there's a little bit of like, it's like a counter tactic, we need to figure out fucking this deep fake technology first before, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Psyop. Fucking psyop. EK got me.
Definitely not.
He's in my head, bro.
He's running down that rabbit hole with you.
He's in my head. I'm actually a CIA plant. I already said that once. Just water me, please. But not after midnight.
Because he'll turn into a gremlin. Or he'll start shooting them out of himself like weird green tumors.
Mike, I freaking love you, dude. We've had some cool conversations since I moved in here, because you and EK used to, like, we used to always be up in here in the office, and y'all would be working on that book and playing World of Warcraft like a couple of nerds.
Frickin' nerds. Can we just circle back to gremlins for a second?
Sure.
Who thinks it's a great idea, one, to go shopping for their grandson or their son at an antique shop, and then say, give me something sketchy or out of the back, or what's this? Give me this weird thing. And the guy's like, don't feed it after X o'clock? What the shit? You couldn't have gotten him like an alarm clock or like a watch or something? You had to get him like some terrifying little monster?
How come both of your options... Hold on, no. Just don't skip back for a second. How come both of your options for a child's birthday present, were timekeepers? What are you doing? Time is an illusion, first of all. Don't put all that pressure on a child. Time's only here to serve your ego. He was
15 years old. He needs to know. He needs to know what the time is.
He doesn't.
So he's on time.
Pop should have got him a thing of rubbers, because he's about to start... Life's about to start popping off at 15, bro.
Okay, way better gift. He could have gotten him something like that, rather than a little demon baby thing that was going to start shooting other monsters out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In his defense, I don't think he knew that it was going to multiply. He just knew not to do those things. But, like, don't all sorts of humans every day get told not to do things and we still do them? Isn't that kind of like the point of that movie or something? I don't know.
Yeah, but what kind of pet don't you want to be able to feed at night or get wet? I can see that Eric's laughing because his mic is non-stop lighting up.
That's funny. He's looking at the camera smiling, and then he's drawing right now.
It's probably like a hangman showing that he's like wanting to kill himself because he has to continue.
I'm not going to draw you a love picture.
So you're saying that you got jealous that Eric and I were working on the audiobook and you wanted to...
Yes, I wanted to touch pee-pee
What is he
holes.
doing?
Oh, he's giving this to me.
Let's see the picture.
Oh, it's beautiful. I don't want to share anybody else. This is just for my eyes.
Aw.
Look, it's transcendent. It
So we know
transcends
that Eric's looking at kaleidoscopes.
It transcends thought and time and space and everything. It transcends ego. It's beautiful. You've done a magnificent job.
So what other jokes can you tell me?
What jokes can you tell me?
Dance, monkey, dance!
You gotta poke me with a stick first.
What do I want to hear a joke about? Okay, so let's build something.
Alright, what's my scene?
Okay, you are a ugly rich kid having sex for the first time.
An ugly rich kid having sex for the first time. Is this where I put my 401k? I don't know.
Oh, man.
What's the cheapest hooker I can buy with this trust fund? Daddy let me drive his car and his cocaine. I don't know. Ugly rich kid.
Ugly rich kid that gets...
I'm ugly and poor. Like, leave me alone.
You are not ugly.
Bro.
Especially the way that people compare you to Jay Muse, and the fact that Jay Muse is definitely not the Jay Muse that he used to look like.
That's true. Okay, thanks. But I think people really compare me to Jay Muse, what they're thinking about Jay Muse as parodying Buffalo Bill. So, let's be honest.
I don't think like that.
That's what most people think. That's what the Photoshops would say. Put my face over top Jason Mewes with his pee-pee tucked back, and here's your boy. You know,
See, that's what you need to do, is download some
my pee-pee
deepfakes
back?
so you can put your head on his stuff in movies.
no.
Am I putting you to sleep over there?
No, well, I mean, I had a long night, brother. EK asked me before we started the podcast, he was like, Are you going to be awake enough to do the podcast? Bro, have you seen how tight my eyes are? I've been in the backyard spinning around in circles till I get dizzy like you would not believe today.
What, have you been playing Dizzy Bats?
Yep. Dizzy bats. Then I've been doing back pedal drills with the dog. We did push-ups. We sang songs. We did the Macarena.
How's the working out been going?
Working out. Some weeks and days are better than others. I have been bad about my cigarette smoking. I tried to quit like back in fucking July. And then on like the 4th of July, I went to a rave with my friends and I started smoking, bumming cigarettes off everybody. And then I started buying cigarettes again. And now I'm just...
That's not good.
Now I'm just now quitting again.
But what about actual exercise? Like, what are you doing to exercise? Are you
So
running?
I was doing like high, what the fuck is it called?
HIIT training, high intensity training? where
Yes,
you do
high intensity
as
training.
much weight as you can with low reps?
Yeah, I was doing like some kind of like high intensity, just like body weight training, like my own body weight and stuff, with a program called Fitness Authority. Kenneth Monsanto. If you've watched my podcast, he was on he was on the podcast a while ago. I think episode 25. Kenneth came on to talk about physical fitness and mind, body, and spirit, and that podcast really lit a fire under my ass. Plus, that same day before I did the podcast, I had posted a fucking meme that was like, hey, for every like this gets, I'll do a push-up. And I ended up having to do 275 push-ups one day. Did that podcast, and I just kept staying in the groove. And since then, I've been staying really steady with my push-ups. And I have definitely seen like progress with my body and my physical fitness. But I hit a lull there for a while, for like a couple weeks, and I've gotten into some bad habits, especially with smoking cigarettes again, where I'm just like spun out chain smoking cigarettes like just a crazy person. So I was went live on Facebook earlier was doing back pedal drills with the dog, playing in the backyard with the dog, and smoking a cigarette. And I had to put the cigarette out, and then I ran so much with the dog after, having my experience last night and an empty stomach and drinking a cup load of water that I got ill. And when I was getting ill, there was like a cigarette butt underneath me. So like I kept just like throwing up on a cigarette butt, and I'm like, oh, you gotta quit smoking, brother. So since then, I've smoked 2 cigarettes. And that was around noon. That was before noon. So I've smoked.
As long as you're walking 20 minutes a day, that's what you need to be doing to at least start. Is get that cardiovascular health up.
So every night.
Worst case scenario, just walk every day.
Yeah. Every night before bed, I take the dog for a walk around the neighborhood.
See, that's the benefit of having the dog, right?
Yeah. Yo, he's excellent. Like, I was playing with him today, and I'm like, dude, he literally is like mind, body, spirit. Like, he is such a little teacher. Like, he teaches me to be more mindful. Running around with him teaches me to be more physical. And, like, he teaches me to be more spiritual in a lot of ways. And, yeah, man. He's a really special dog. I'm really lucky to have him in my life. He's patient, too. Owner. He puts up with a lot of... No, I'm not. I could be a better pet owner, but thank you. Thank you. I love my dog, but I could be a better pet owner. We all could. I'm not saying that I fucking abuse the dog, but I could spend more time with him. I've been neglectful. I've been fucking staring at my phone and stuff. That's not to say that that we're not outside all the time and I'm throwing, his tire or his ball for him, but it's like I'll go outside, smoke a cigarette, and throw the football a couple times until I'm done with my cigarette, and then I go back in. He's like, bro, like, actually play with me. So, and like, he knows when I'm engaged or not. So like, if I'm not really engaged in the act, like, he knows, and he like, but when I actually pour myself into it and play with him, man, like, he feels it and he knows, and we're like wild.
It's man's best friend, buddy.
Yeah, man. Well, besides you.
Oh, I'm definitely not man's best friend.
Don't you have cats?
I don't know what I'd be. I do have cats. My wife would have every animal possible if we had an acreage or a farm. I think that's pretty cool. She's awesome with animals. And I love animals too, but there's a maximum that I am willing to... Actually, we got a fish yesterday, and the cats have been trying to eat it for 24 hours. So it just hides at the bottom of the tank. But yeah, I love animals too, and I grew up with them. My dad had 3 dogs and all the cats that just kept having litters, and it was cool. But there's only so many animals that you can actually take care of, like you were saying, properly, and give all of the love and attention to and make them feel special.
Yeah.
And I think that once you can't start doing that, then you should stop getting more animals.
Yeah.
Same with people that keep having kids. There's only so much attention that you can give to your kids. And yeah, you could say they take care of each other, but really, there's only so much attention you can give to anybody.
Yeah.
And which comes fully circular about being a fan, right? Sorry to interrupt you.
Right. No. I was interrupting you. So,
like if I follow 7 different people, and I follow much more than 7 different people in their social media endeavors, in their indie careers, and their everything that they're creating. Follow probably close to 50 people. And they're all doing something every day for at least a couple minutes, including yourself. So how much can you watch before you're like, oh, like you were talking about earlier, how much of the Facebook can you look at before you got to get back to comedy writing?
Right.
How many things can you watch before you're like, holy crap, I've watched 20 hours of other people's content this week. I could have done 20 hours of my own stuff, but at the same time, you got to support everybody else's stuff because it helps in other ways, right? Because they keep creating. Some of it does come back because they look at your stuff. Right. But it also helps them because they're like, hey, I have people that are interested in my thing. This is great.
And we work like prisms. We're supposed to be translucent. I think Mitri Nelson actually said that on episode 2, right? When I asked him who his influences were. And it's true because we take in as creators, we take in inspiration and influence from everywhere. And then we channel it and put it back out into our things that we're doing, whether it be this podcast or your book. I'm sure you have a writing style, and that isn't just based originally on yourself. That's based off of the writers that you've come to like over the years. And you're like, oh, look how they do this, look how they do that. And after a while, you come to create your own writing style. But typically it's still based in influence from somewhere. You know what I mean? Man, about the dog though, it's like I'm good at showing him love, you know what I mean? And like uh, uh doing everything I need to do for the dog, feed him, give him water, give him love when he's around me, and like, but I do need to dedicate that. I need to dedicate a block of time to play with him instead of just have the time that we go for a walk and the little times that I'm like, play with him a little bit, play with him a little bit, play with him. Like, no, it needs to be an hour block that you dedicate to like really pouring yourself into this act of engaging and playing with your dog, like letting him know that like you're with him right now. I'm not just like bullshitting kind of throwing this toy. You know what I mean? Just like, I'm not just throwing the toy to get you tired to make myself feel better for not playing with you. You know what I mean?
Yes. You're not giving the dog attention to make yourself feel better about not giving the dog attention.
Yeah.
You're doing it because the dog naturally wants your attention, and that's the good thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm the only person in the world, like, all he wants is to play with me. It's like, fuck, dude, take advantage of that. Let him love you.
Your animal, and a lot of people don't think this, but your animal thinks that you're the most important person in the world.
Yeah, for sure. So act like it. I mean, not like in a dickish way, but just like be a good person about it.
Yeah. So like give them lovings because they're like, holy crap, I'm getting lovings from who I think is the most important person in the world, this person on a pedestal.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of put them back on a pedestal.
Exactly.
Yep. No, we like I said, man, I've been neglectful to myself, my own craft, and my dog because of like my phone, music, other distractions, and I'm really on
make a schedule, brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on, bud. That's I made one before, but I think I like overwhelmed myself with it. I need to make a looser schedule at first, and then as time goes on, I can tighten it down and develop it more. But I think really what I need to establish right now is a morning routine, like when I get up, the things that I do before I start writing, and then I need to go and say, this is my creative block. This is my block of time that I'm working on stuff today. And then have my block at the end of the day for leisure time or playing with the dog, that type of stuff.
You need to exercise in the morning, too.
Yeah, I do.
It's out of your way for the rest of the day, right?
Yep. And you were just asking about exercise and stuff. So that starts back tomorrow with Fitness Authority. What are you drinking?
Awesome, dude. I'm drinking an energy drink with rum.
What kind of rum?
So, Captain Morgan's.
No. Like, what proof? What?
Oh, I don't know.
Drinking Bacardi, huh?
No, it's not 151. That's for sure.
That'd be a big ass cup of 151, and
it's
that much 151 and Red Bull, you would definitely be like.
But it's green, so it looks like Hulk jizz.
Hulk jizz.
If it was really runny.
I'm glad you're Canadian, because otherwise I'd be worried that you're going to try to bare knuckle box your wife.
How do you? Oh, okay, why do you think that?
Because of all the alcohol.
Oh.
Because if it was Bacardi 151 and an energy drink, that would be a fucking vicious combination.
Nope, just makes me prepared to work with you two guys.
Oh, okay. The fuck? You need coping mechanisms to be my friend?
No, it just gives me an hour to put up with a engineer that fucks it all up.
Man, I would never use coping mechanisms to talk to you, man.
As he's hitting from some future age cannabis object.
No, it's a fucking Juul. I had to quit smoking cigarettes. Leave me alone.
Isn't it essentially the same thing? It's actually worse because it's vapor.
Look, I don't need your judgment.
You don't have any judgment from me, buddy. Your body is your body.
Did you just try to hit on me?
That would come after this Scottcast. Or should I say, not a Scottcast.
Oh. Mike, what are your closing thoughts? If you could address the whole world right now at once, what would you say?
If I could address the whole world right now, I would say that you should try to be nicer to your fellow woman and man, because it's a lot easier to be mean to them than it is to be nice. And if you go through life doing everything the easy way, then you're not really going to benefit a whole lot. You're not going to benefit those around you. But if you take some of the challenges that are thrown in front of you, including having to be nice to other people or just being a good person, then you'll make the world a better place.
I like that, man. So a little bit of do the right things for the right reasons and have some self-accountability.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Don't be afraid to say you're wrong.
Yo, yeah. Don't be afraid to say you're wrong or admit you're wrong or accept new information or critique from outside sources.
Knowing that I'm a better man than I was yesterday is always a good. And sometimes that requires saying, you know what, you were right. I was wrong. I'm going to better myself.
Dude, right on. That almost has me excited for tomorrow. Those are pretty impressive fractal images. EK is over here just losing his mind drawing kaleidoscopes, man. I mean, he's just ring around the posy, whatever. I don't care.
I really appreciate you having me on.
Dude, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry it took so long, Mike. I will read your book. I'm going to start reading it after I read this Alan Watts book. That's another thing. I've ordered so many books because I'm like, I want to study this thing and I want to study that thing. And like,
hey, it's okay.
But now that I'm quitting smoking cigarettes and turning my phone off and dedicating more time to myself and taking my time back, like Kenneth Monsanto, a fitness authority, told me, hey, man, I got to drop everybody's name.
Arnold says that you only have 4 hours a day to better yourself or pick what you want to do. And he says that that's because most people work a job and then they have to eat and they have to do all of their chores and everything, which leaves them 4 hours a day to decide what they want to do with themselves. So you can either sit and watch TV for that 4 hours a day after you're done working. You can work out. You can do other things to better yourself. But same kind of premise as your other fitness guy is talking about.
I like that.
Take control.
I at least got 6 to 8 hours, so I need to take control.
Hell yeah.
Mike, thank
Talk
you.
soon, buddy.
You're a beautiful soul.
You as well, bud.
You have a good night, man.
You too.
Mike, look.